Happy Halloween, you beautiful little wafer burglars. Oh, it's only Legacy of Kain's Soul Reaver, isn't it? I'm excited. I'm excited to do this one. I was worried I wouldn't be able to for a minute because it didn't want to work with my capture, but I found a way. I found a way, and this is the game. This is the game I wanted to do out of all of them. This and the sequel. These were the games that basically were my childhood, pretty much. Like, I've made a point of going through the games that, were big influences on my childhood and that I played a whole bunch of. This and Soul Reaver 2 were the big ones. These were possibly the most... They're definitely the ones that stand out the most in my memory when I think childhood stuff that I really enjoyed going back to. So, better get into it, hadn't I? Rather than just sit here blathering. Oh, you men in robes have different faces. Sometimes. Nah. Who knows? Who knows? I certainly don't. I don't know any of what I'm saying. I'm a bit giddy. I mean, I called you all wafer phantoms or something. What was it? Wiggly burglars? Who? Something. There was a name involved. So I'll do the game. Let's just do the game. We've got save data already, but let's do a new game, because that's the point. That's the entire point.
Kain is deified. The clans tell tales of him. Few know the truth. He was mortal once, as were we all. However, his contempt for humanity drove him to create me and my brethren. I am Raziel, firstborn of his lieutenants.
Hello.
I stood with Kain and my brethren at the dawn of the Empire. I have served him a millennium. Over time, we became
How does
less
my head
human and
work?
more divine. Kain would enter the state of change and emerge with a new gift. Some years after the Master, our evolution would follow. Until I had the honor of surpassing my lord.
Wingies. Wingies. Gotta do the wingy inspection. The ancient rite.
For my transgression, I earned a new kind of reward.
Fuck your wings! Bring him to the wet pit. It's green with vampire.
There was only one possible outcome. My eternal damnation.
You know, he's playing this up a lot. I reckon he's making it sound worse than it is.
Was to suffer the fate of
This'll
traitors
probably
and
pan out
vampires,
fine for him.
to burn forever in the bowels of the lake of the dead.
I mean, as long as they don't cast him in.
Cast him in.
Fuck. Oof.
Tumbling, burning with white-hot fire, I plunged into
It's a
the
big
depths
oof
of the
right
abyss.
there.
Unspeakable pain, relentless agony. Time ceased to exist.
One of the biggest oofs,
Only
one would
this
argue.
torture and a deepening hatred of the hypocrisy that damned me to this hell.
Oh, he's gone real skelly bones. Flop.
An eternity passed, and my torment receded.
Here's your shawl,
pulling me back
idiot.
From the precipice of madness.
Oh.
The descent had destroyed me, and yet I lived.
Where's my jaw gone? Well, guess I'm blue now. Better establish an iconic look. Good to know. Thank you. My self-esteem needed that. Oh God.
I know you, Raziel.
Bit jarring.
You are worthy.
And really
What
jagged.
madness is this? What pitiful form is this that I have come to inhabit? Death would be a release next to this travesty.
You did not survive the abyss, Raziel. I have only spared you from total dissolution.
I would choose oblivion over this existence.
You
The choice
just said that.
is not yours.
I am destroyed.
You are reborn.
Sunshine, I know it was the 90s, but do you not think you're
The
laying it
birth
on a
of
bit
one
thick?
Of Cain's abominations traps the essence of life. It is this soul that animates the corpse you lived in. And that, Raziel,
Octopus.
is the demise of Nosgoth. There is no balance. The souls of the dead remain trapped. I cannot spin them in the wheel of fate. They cannot complete.
Those
their
of you who are
destiny.
wondering, yes, that is Tony J.
Redeem yourself. Or if you prefer, avenge yourself. Settle your dispute with Cain. Destroy him and your brethren. Free their souls and let the wheel of fate churn again. Use your hatred to reave their souls. I can make it possible. Become my Soul Reaver.
Hey, that's the
my
name of the game.
angel of death.
Alright! Hey! I did get the analog stick working. Last time I played it, I couldn't figure out how to get it to work with the I'm doing it on the PS3. Because it made it work for the recording. Who's this plinth about? Who's this plinth? Anyway, little bit of latency. Little bit of latency might make the platforming difficult. Now, one thing I do want to check. Speech. I did not think there were. I was checking for subtitles. I'm going to refrain from talking a lot during the cutscenes. Potentially at all, unless the content compels me, but yeah, I'm just going to let them sort of chew the scenery without me nattering on over it, because, you know, again, Tony J's in this game. So, you know, that's where we're at. So, you know, who am I to intrude at the end of the day? Oh, a little bit of a laggy loo. Laggy Waggingson.
These gates twist space, laying a path across great spans.
Cool. Just in case you need to go across great spans. It's a fast travel system. An early one. Square to engage. We can't any of them. These are some of the fun symbols you can go to across great spans. Anyway, spoilers. Right now we're at Mayan Face. In the greeny blue. Use the symbols to navigate. Fun, lovely time walking on it. Oh. Bit of slowdown.
are weak. You must feed.
The old hunger has left me. I have no desire for blood.
You are changed. Your bloodthirst is replaced by a deeper need. You have become a devourer of souls. To sustain your strength, you must hunt the lost spirits of
Would have been a
the
completely
underworld
different
and
game.
consume the souls of your enemies.
Eat souls, get health. Talking of which, I remember years and years and years and years ago seeing a bit of art for a slash fiction of Soul Reaver. And the only reason I bring it up is that it was so... like, it was to such a standard and so, like, stylistically in keeping with concept art that I'd seen for the first Soul Reaver. I thought it was legitimately, like, a piece of extended universe, like, official literature. And I was so confused, because the scenario made no sense in the context of everything I knew, everything I thought I understood about Soul Reaver. And yet here was this. Here were the vampire boys apparently doing a smooch, and there was nothing I could do about it, because it was the law.
Your wings, though ruined, are not without purpose. Take hold of them as you leap, and they will carry you across this chasm.
Chasm. Lovely chasm. Chasm cadence. Not sure if that's the word I want, but it's fun to say chasm cadence, you can't deny that. Your wings have a glidey hoof, jump, whoosh power that you can use.
Scabrous wretches
Oh,
are these?
hairy men.
Sua, the scavengers of the underworld.
Look
Their
at me
fellow
green
hunger
bum
has claimed countless souls.
as I do my
Spirits
fun
thou
walk.
shalt never
Ayy,
find their
fun
death.
struts for green butts. You'd better believe it. Hit him! I can auto-face. They hadn't called it lock-on yet, I guess. Hit your children. Aha! I did a fun little whoosh round. Then they do knick-knack. They play knick-knack on their knees when they die. I don't know if you... Or well, when they turn into ghosts so that you can do them a proper munch. Just having a translucent frogman distort into your throat. Honestly, kind of a disturbing image. But one that brings you great benefit in the game.
These portals are your conduit between the spectral and material realms. With their aid, you may gather matter and will yourself to become manifest in the physical world. This is taxing, however. Your strength must first be fully restored. You require no conduit to return to this plane. You may abandon your physical body at any time.
Probably not the best advice you could have given me personally, but oh well. Here's your ring of thing. The first thing, this. It's gone normal and real.
Sustain your strength to prolong your manifestation in the physical world. If you fail to feed or absorb too many wounds, this fragile matter will dissolve.
Yes, Tony J, that's how life works. I feel like the rules apply for what in God's name are you doing, Raziel? I'd forgotten that
Moi. Moi. Moi.
Anyway, enough of that tomfoolery. I've got a mission to a closed gate. Smush it. Nymph. No smushy nymph. There's a lot of slowdown as well, but I remember that from the previous capture setup I used. Oh yeah, that's a thing you get later in this one. We'll get to that, don't you hecking worry.
You are young yet, Raziel. You still retain many of your vampiric weaknesses. Immersion in water, while not fatal, will dissolve your physical body, forcing your return to the spirit world.
That sounds pretty fatal.
Be aware that in the spectral realm, water has neither heft nor lift. It stands as thin as air.
Water has neither heft nor lift. Any excuse to say heft, I will gladly take. Open your fun door. I feel like being an octopus has really distorted Tony J's perception on what death is, what constitutes death.
Do you not recognize them? They are the children of your brother, Uma.
It's impossible. These foul, scuttling beasts could not be kin of our high blood.
Do you suppose that time stood still for you, Raziel? Much has changed since you passed from the world of men.
Well, the world of vampires, if we're being exact, but if I correct you on that, I've got to correct you on every fucking thing you've said wrong since the start of this conversation.
I knew my opponent's weaknesses, having suffered them myself. Physical wounds are fleeting. Vampire's immortal flesh begins to close as soon as it is cleaved. Vampires need only fear those wounds that impale or inflame. Water scorches like acid, and fledglings are devastated by sunlight's touch. I would have to modify my tactics to suit my foes.
That's kind of a fun detail. There are specific ways you kill them. Throw them in the sploosh. Haha, you've splooshed to death.
A creature's soul fades swiftly into the spectral realm. Draw it in quickly, Raziel, or you will be compelled to follow.
Excuse me, I gotta drink your brother. Haha. If you devour their soul, their body just sort of dissolves. We can't see it because it's in the water. It's in the splooshy sploosh, isn't it? I'll try and show you with this one. But yeah. Doopy doop. See if we can impale him. Impale the child! Ah. Yeah, they just heal if you don't, like, finish them off. So it's kind of interesting, particularly for its time. Like, more complicated than you would perhaps... Will you? My aim is not tremendous. I've made the man red behind a box. How do I camera? Where's the boy gone? Child? There you are. I'm trying to show the good children how I get rid of you. Be nice. Yeah, so it's not just vampires, it's post-apocalyptic vampires. Peak 90s. There we go, you see. We eat the soul, and the body burns away. Yes, vampiric flesh will heal unless, burned and whatnot. But if you eat their soul, there's not much they can do to recover from that.
Your physical prowess surpasses what you knew in life. Even massive obstacles can be moved effortlessly.
Move a cube! Dragging a cube. Is this where I want the cube? Where do I want the cube? Over here, I think. Drag a cube. Drag a cube. You'd better do it, you fucking coward. If you don't, there'll be an inquisition. I got a little bit left. Chomp, chomp. Crobbins. Waff. Spring. There we go. All the fun sound effects. Let me round your circles. You can have a fun torch. Indeed. Oh, the torch, it's gone. But the lighting effects remain. Bird!
The sanctuary of the clans reduced to ruin. Beyond these walls lay the pillars of Nosgoth, the seat of Kain's empire. How humble it now appeared, collapsing into the dust of its former magnificence. And yet, I had only just emerged. In the instant between my execution and resurrection, centuries had apparently passed.
Yeah, Ozymandias, isn't it?
This world is wrecked with cataclysms. The earth strains to shrug off the pestilence of Kain's parasitic empire. The fate of this world was preordained in an instant by a solitary man. Unwilling to martyr himself to restore Nosgoth's balance, Kain condemned the world to the decay you see. In that moment, the unraveling began. Now it is nearly played out. Nosgoth teeters on the brink of collapse. Its fragile balance cannot hold.
Very bleak. Ignite him. You only get one ignition per stick, unfortunately. Thwah! Alright, moving on to a fun spear. Saw they were there during the cutscene. May have noticed that the smoke from the torch that we were holding was visible during the cutscene, even though the torch itself was not. Oi, idiot! Hit you with a stick! Oh. I'm trying to hit you with a stick. I feel like I'm not fully taking advantage of this thing's range here. I feel like I could possibly be wielding it better. Get that up, yeah. Okay. Have my spear back. That's the fun thing. You probably gathered from when he was explaining it himself, but the reason impaling a vampire works is because, like, having the implement in there prevents the flesh from healing because it can't, like, close through it. If I were to remove the implement before consuming the vampire's soul, they would get back up. And I believe it also makes them stronger. There will be a point where this is demonstrated. There are a couple of points, I think, where this is demonstrated without me having to do it now. So you'll get to see that regardless. I'll just... You seem like bright people. Aha! A circle! It's blue! It's the sun! Let me open it! Don't do that! Let me use the door that is this. Aha! I knew you would succumb. You've succumbed to my pushing of doors. Wumpy. The Wumpy Jumpy has frozen. This is the Squiggle Zone. We can cross a great span now if we want, but there's no real need. Well. I guess we're about the length of an episode, so we'll call this episode 1. Soul Reaver. Doing it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy putting this game a look, because it's... I love it. I love it so much, and hopefully you will understand why, but... Well, I guess I'll see you in the next episode, shan't I? Ta-ra for now.